Hi everybody, thanks for joining me for another tutorial in Melinda's Rubber Room. I'm Melinda Pierce and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm here today to show you how to make this. I'm going to call it a step card just because it looks like little stairs. So this is meant to actually sit on your mantle, and it can just sit just like that, or it can hang off the edge. You just kind of have to do a balancing act with it, and the edge would be right here of your mantle, the edge of your mantle, and then this front part would hang down off of your mantle. So I'm going to point you down to my work surface and get right to it. Okay, I'm going to try to bring it close so you can see everything. Okay, so this was a card that I showed during Wednesday's Zoom class. And I'm just making a video now in case you missed that tutorial. So I'm going to start with the base cardstock that measures 4 1/4 by 9 1/2, and it's scored at 2 inches and 4 inches. So this is my 4 1/4 by 9 1/2. It's scored at 2 inches and 4 inches. And I'm going to do a valley fold and then a mountain fold. So you end up with a piece that looks like that. Okay, so this is going to be the base of our card. And then I'm going to attach this designer series paper. And this measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I'm just going to go ahead and put adhesive on there. And you want to make sure that you do that first, because everything else gets attached to this piece of designer series paper. So this does have a little bit of a border all the way around it of the green. Okay, so then we're going to start with our first block, and that is 3 1/4 by 5. And so it's 3 1/4 by 5, and it's scored at 1 1/2 inches, 3 inches, and 4 1/2 inches. So you end up with this little lip right here as one of your score lines. And all of these score lines are going to be mountain folds, so you can just kind of fold them all in on themselves. And this is the case on all of the blocks. So just go ahead and reinforce those folds. Okay, so this first one, so you can see on this piece of cardstock, you have these 3 folds. And so we're going to take this first fold, which has the widest section on it. We're going to go ahead and put adhesive on that, and that's going to go ahead and adhere to this base of the card. So it's going to adhere just like so. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So this is the opposite end of the block from this little lip here. So this little section here is the one that's going to be attached to the red section, and the wider section on the other end is always going to be attached to the green. So again, I'm just going to adhere this right onto this first ledge of the base. So if it's folded all the way flat down, it's going to go right there. So you're right next to the fold line here, score line, and it now looks like this. We're going to go ahead and put adhesive on this little lip here. And I'm going to fold this in half, this block that we just added. I'm going to fold it down so it's all sitting on this green portion. Let me see if I can get the camera just a little bit closer. Okay, so it's sitting down flat right here. I'm going to take the red portion of the card, or the back piece of the card, and just fold that in on itself. And that adhesive that you have on that block is going to stick to the red section and create that first step. just like so. We're going to do that again with the next size block. This is block number 2, and it measures 2.5 by 4 inches, and it's scored at 1 inches, 2.5 inches, and 3.5 inches. So again, this is 2.5 by 4, scored at 1 inch, 2.5, and 3.5. I'm going to go ahead and fold all of those fold lines as mountain folds again. There's that section, that block. So again, this is the small score line section that is going to attach to the red piece on your card. And on the other side is what's going to attach to your green step. So I'm going to go ahead and take adhesive. And I'm going to flatten my card down like that. So this is the section of the block that I want to add my next section to. So I'm just going to put that adhesive right on the edge of that score line where it attaches to the red cardstock. And if you turn your card this way, this is what it looks like. You have your first block there, and this green block, the second block, is attached to the first block. Okay, we're going to go ahead and fold that down on itself and apply the adhesive right there on that small score line section. Okay, so now you have your base cardstock, your first block, and you're adding your second block here. And you're going to go ahead and close this up on itself. Now you have something that looks like that. And we're taking our third block. This one measures 1.5 inches by 3 inches, and it's scored at 1/2 inch, 2 inches, and 2.5. So it's 2.5 inches by 4 inches. I'm sorry, this is block 3. 1.5 inches by 3. I was going to say, this doesn't look like 2.5 inches. Okay, so this is 1.5 inches by 3 inches, and it's scored at 1/2 inch. Goes this way, 1/2 inch, 2 inches, and 2.5 inches. And you're going to go ahead and fold on all of those score lines, like so. You have your small section here that's going to attach to the red, and this section here is going to attach to the green. So it's always the piece that has these two fold lines next to each other. Those are the ones that are going to attach to the red section or the back of your card. And it's this single one that's going to attach to your blocks. Okay, so this is my single section. Got my blocks here. I'll flatten that down a little bit so you can see. I'm putting it right down next to that score line where the green meets the red, centering it from left to right. I'm going to go ahead and push that down. So now you have something that looks like this. And this piece here is going to be folded in half with your small score line right there on top. Go ahead and fold these blocks up. So you're basically closing your card so that you can get your adhesive right where it needs to be on that red section. Okay, so now you have something that looks like that. Okay, so it would sit on your mantle just like so. Just like that. Okay, so now all we have to do is decorate it. When I saw this design, I kept thinking that it looked like a tree, so that's how I'm decorating mine. So this is going to be my first piece of Designer Series paper. It measures 1 7/8 by 4 1/8. It's going to go right down here on this first portion of the base. Like so. And then this second one that goes on it's actually the first block, that measures 1 3/8 by 3 1/8. And the Designer Series paper I'm using today is called Boughs of Holly. It's in the holiday catalog, which is getting ready to be retired. So I'm not sure if any of this paper is still available, but you can check it on my online store at melindapierce.stampinup.net and see if you can purchase it there. This is for block number 2. The Designer Series paper measures 1 3/8 by 2 3/8. So Stampin' Up! Does have a really good sale going on right now on the holiday products, as well as some items that are on the clearance rack. So make sure you go and check all those out because there's some really great deals on there, and I would hate for you to miss out. Okay, and then this last block measures 1 3/8 by 1 3/8 for the Designer Series paper. All right, so there is my little tree. And then I'm just going to do a little decoration. So I have a small silver star that I punched out. Just going to add that to the top of my tree. Just like so. And then I have the Pearlized Enamel Effects Basics. This is Real Red. These come in a package of 3. You get a black one, a red one, and a white one. And these are really fun. It's just like our pearlized enamel dots that we sell, but it's in a liquid form. So you have a little bit more flexibility with it, and you just get tons of uses out of them because you just use tiny little dots. Just apply it directly to your paper. Squeeze and let go to create a little dot. And I'm going to put these in groups of 3 just to make them like little berries on my tree. So they do stay wet for a little while, so you need to make sure that you have a place to put your card while it dries. But they really are fun to use. And you don't have to worry about them falling off of your card because once they're on there, they're not going anywhere. These were also in the holiday catalog. I believe that they are carrying over, but you might want to check it out again on my online store at melindapierce.stampinup.net. And that information is right up here as well. If you want any information about my upcoming Zoom classes, you can find that on my Facebook page at Melinda's Rubber Room on Facebook. Trying to find some of my other embellishments that I wanted to use on the card. Use some tiny little silver dots on or embellishments on this one. You can kind of see those poking up there. So I'll have to go back and find those to finish up my card. But I do want to show you how I did the greeting. So I'm going to I have my greeting here, and I have my cherry cobbler, which is the color that's on my Designer Series paper on the background. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp my Merry Christmas. And as you can see, this die is really big, and I only want it to be this wide. So I am going to take my die and, I don't know if you can see that, there you go. Take my die and attach it with some washi tape. And I'm going to do 2 passes through the mini cut and emboss machine. Of course, you can do this with the larger cut and emboss machine, but I have the mini at my workstation right now, so I'm going to use that. Put that down. Bring in my machine. This guy is so cute and little and so easy to move back and forth on my workstation, so I don't have to have it sitting in front of me the whole time. So I have my base plate one and one of my clear plates, and then I'm going to take my image here, put it right on top with the clear plate on top, run that through. Okay, so now I want my cut image to be smaller than that. So I'm going to place this die back on, matching up the top and the bottom of it with the die that's already cut. And just moving it so that the right side is as wide as I want that die cut to be. And then I'm going to bring my cut and emboss machine back in. Same stack as before. And there you have the smaller die cut image for the card instead of this large one. So it's a great way to get double uses or multiple uses out of your die cuts, and a great way to personalize the size that you want for your card. Okay, so I have a card here. This is one that I did earlier, so my dots are nice and dry. And I'm going to raise that up with some dimensionals. And I have some end pieces here that I'm just going to cut up and use, because we don't like to waste anything in the stamp room. That's going to go right down on the center of that piece, that first section there, just like so. And then on the back, I have my greeting. So you have a piece of white cardstock that measures 4 inches by 5 1/4 for your greeting, and that's where you can sign your card as well. All right, I hope you enjoyed that tutorial and learned something new. That's my goal with these videos. If you'd like to join us on my Wednesday Zoom session, you can do so. I try to have those every Wednesday from 10 a.m. to noon. And I just try to show different cards for you to do with me. I give you all the measurements ahead of time so you can cut all your cardstock. And then we just have fun socializing and making the cards together. So if you have any questions, feel free to message me on my YouTube channel or on my Facebook page under Melinda's Rubber Room. I'd be happy to help you out with any questions you might have. If you have any items that you would like to purchase, you can do so on my online store at melindapierce.stampinup.net. Thank you for joining me. Take care. Bye-bye.